Today our topic is syllogism and types of syllogisms. And we are going to do the definition of syllogism, why do we study syllogism and the types of syllogism in this lecture. The word syllogism is derived from a Greek word syllogismos, means calculation or inference. So the meaning of syllogism is that is how we the calculation and how we infer the things. Uh, it is a kind of logical argument that applies deductive reasoning, which is from one or more statement premises to reach to a logical conclusion. So here also we use the deductive reasoning to arrive at the conclusion based on two or more propositions that are asserted or assumed to be true. So syllogism is basically we are driving the a calculation or an inference from the two of the premises which are assumed or asserted to be true. An example of syllogism is that all mammals are animals, all elephants are mammals, therefore all elephants are animals. So the first two are the premises or the true proposition, and the third one is the calculation. So this is this is kind of called the syllogism. So this is the definition of an example of syllogism. What is syllogism? Syllogism is a method of reasoning by drawing a calculation from two premises like we have defined in the previous slide. So the particular pattern of a syllogism is that the first major premises share something with the second minor premises, which in turn leads to a calculation. So the one is the major premises which is related to the minor premises, and together they help us to draw a calculation. So this is called syllogism. As we have mentioned in the previous slide that syllogism is a method of reasoning. So syllogistic reasoning is a type of deductive argument. It involves trying to categorize objects by fitting them into contained circle. For instance, suppose we know that all the things matching category B is completely part of the larger category A, then that is our major premises or our first argument. Suppose we all prove that all the things matching category C's are also at the inside the category B, that is our minor premises or our of the C. So must be A as well. So we can see that this is that we chart in the visually with three circles like the drawing. So basically what we are saying that as the B, all the elements of the B are the part of the element A, so C is also part of the A. Since C is the part of B and B is part of the A, I can remind you that we in the mathematics or in the algebra, when we were studying the set theory, this is the same thing, that if all elements of B are the part of A and then all the elements of C are the part of B, so all the elements of C are also part of A. So A is the major premises, B is the minor premises. So from A and B we deducted that C is also part of A. Let's explain a little bit further that there's three ways to understand syllogism. So a syllogism is a logical argument composed of three parts, like we have already discussed in the previous slide, giving the example of A, B, C. That one is the major premises, like we have A, and then minor premises, that is like B, and then calculate and infer from these two premises. So if B is the part of A and C is part of the B two premises, then C is also part of A, that is our infer are our calculations. So same is here. Major premises is like all birds are animal, and then turkey vultures are bird, all turkey vultures are animals. So that is like uh, minor premises. So this is another way of understanding the syllogism. As we understand that what is the syllogism, so why we are studying, because this is in philosophy and in critical thinking, and because we talk about logic, so in logic syllogism aims at identify the general truth in a particular situation. So and then we use this tool by the speakers or the writer to persuade the audience or the readers, as their belief in a general truth may tempt them to believe in a specific calculation drawn from those truths. So we are using these general truths to pursue our readers or our audience to believe in the calculation. So there are some. Let's see. What are the truths are. So we are using the general truths here to pursue our readers and audience to convince or to understand or to agree to our calculations, because they have already believed in some of the truths. Uh, since we talk about the general truth, so let's me define what general truth is. The, the present simple is used to express, this is the kind of sentence we use to express the facts that are always true or events that always happens. So what are the general truths? It is the facts that are always true or events that always happen. This use is often described with the term general truth. So what is the example? Like we know a magnet attracts iron, the sun rises in the east, or water boils at the 100 degrees Celsius. So these are our general truths, and we use these general truths as our premises to conclude or to infer something from these general truths and convince our audience and convince our readers to accept our argument. After defining the syllogism, let's talk our second part of our lecture is the types of syllogism. So they are like categorical syllogism, hypothetical syllogism, conditional syllogism, disjunctive syllogism, and conjunctive syllogism. So let's talk about each in the next part of the lecture. So let's start with the first type, which is categorical syllogism. A categorical syllogism is an argument consisting of exactly three categorical propositions, two premises and one conclusion, in which three appear a total of exactly three categorical terms, each of which is used exactly twice. So for example, all birds lay eggs. A swan is a bird, therefore swans lays the eggs. So syllogism here contain a major premises, a minor premises, and to create the conclusion. A more general statement, then more a specific statement, and then conclusion. For example, all birds lay eggs is our general statement, then swan is a bird is a more specific statement, and then our conclusion. So this is called categorical syllogism. So the next is hypothetical syllogism. In classical logic, hypothetical syllogism is a valid argument form, which is syllogism having a conditional statement for one or both of its premises. For example, if I do not wake up, then I cannot go to work, and if I cannot go to work, then I will not get paid. So therefore, if I do not wake up, then I will not get the paid. So if we just say if we do not wake up, then I will not get the paid. Maybe you will not convinced by that, but we have to use the two premises to make a calculation which is kind of valid result. So a hypothetical syllogism is a valid argument form in logic. The next type of syllogism is conditional syllogism. It is one whose major premise is a conditional proposition and whose minor premises and conclusions are categorical proposition. So it consists of antecedent which already exist and then consequent which follow as a result, for the truth of hypothetical judgment lies in the truth of dependence between the two clauses. The basic form of conditional syllogism is that if A antecedent is true, then B consequent is also true. So if A is true, then B is also true. So this is called conditional syllogism. It appears through a major premises, a minor premises, and a calculation. The example is you are sad, and I am, the second one is I am qualified to help people who are sad, so I can make you happy. So this is called conditional syllogism. This is one of the example of that. The next is this disjunctive syllogism. In classical logic, disjunctive syllogism, historically known as the modus telenodo ponens (MTP) in Latin, for modes that affirm by denying, is a valid argument form which is a syllogism having a disjunctive statement for one of its premises. So, like if is it true, if A is true, then B is false. It mean A or B, either A or B. If A is false, then B will be true, while vice versa. If B is true, then A is false, or if A is true, then B is false. For example, if someone is going to study law or medicine and when does not study the law, it means that they are studying the medicine. So this is called disjunctive syllogism. I hope you understand what does that mean is. The last type is the conjunctive syllogism. So conjunctive syllogism is that which have a conjunctive proposition for its major. This proposition alleges an incompatibility between two cases, one of which is affirmed in order to eliminate the other. For example, you could not be in Brussels and Paris at the same time. So if you are in Brussels, therefore you will be not in Paris. So example of conjunctive proposition work cannot be, another example of conjunctive proposition could be that one cannot be wealthy and poor at the same time. So this is another example of conjunctive. So I briefly discuss in this lecture the meaning of syllogism, definition, why we study in this course of philosophy and critical thinking, and then the types of syllogism. So please go through this lecture, and if you have any question, please let me know. I will glad to answer your all inquiries or questions. Thank you for your time.